KORK North Bay, your source for news and happenings throughout the North Bay.
Hello and thanks for watching KORK North Bay TV, where you'll find local news and happenings focused on the greater North Bay area. This broadcast is sponsored by Mike Larbre Automotive, 5-star ratings for all of your domestic and import automotive repair needs, located on Highway 12 in Sonoma. Mention you saw them here on KORK TV to receive a special discount. This broadcast is also sponsored by our friends at Sonoma Paint Center, your source for all of your home and automotive paint and supply needs. In the city of Napa on Thursday, a homeowner was alerted by his security camera system that something was going on at his home. At the time, the man who owns the home wasn't there, but he could see what was going on with his smartphone that his security system was sending the footage to. The home was located on Bristol Court, which is about 200 feet away from Justin Siena High School's baseball field across Trower Avenue. What the man saw were 3 men walking around his home, so he immediately called police to let them know what was going on, and then suddenly his security camera feed went blank as if the system had been shut off. Within minutes, police arrived and found 2 of the men inside a vehicle that was parked in the driveway, and another man carrying a safe that had been taken from inside the home and loading it into a car. The man had apparently entered the home through a window. Thankfully, the officers at the scene were able to take all 3 of the suspects into custody without incident. The homeowner arrived at the scene and verified that no one was supposed to be there and that he didn't recognize any of the 3 suspects who were identified as Kevin Milano Higuera, Oscar Alexander Cortez, and Jonathan Lopez Sepulveda. It turns out that these 3 suspects are thought to be part of a bigger organized crime ring who are believed to be responsible for numerous other burglaries throughout the region, as well as throughout the state. With the 3 were burglary tools, plus an electric device that's believed to be what they used to disable or jam the home security system, cutting the video feed off. All 3 were booked into Napa County Jail with a bail enhancement of $250,000 each. On Monday night last week, just after 10:30 in the evening, a Petaluma police officer spotted a white SUV traveling at a high rate of speed in the Lakeville Road and Wilson Avenue area of town. This is when we had the rains going on, so the roads were wet and it was a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit zone. So the officer hit his license siren to pull the vehicle over. But the driver had other ideas, and instead of pulling over, she decided to floor it and head to the freeway, where she headed northbound on 101. The pursuit continued up the highway as she weaved in and out of traffic at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour. By now, the officer had called her license plate in, and what came back was that the vehicle had a suspended registration. The pursuit continued up past Katati and into Rohnert Park, where a Rohnert Park police officer was staged who tossed out spike strips in order to pop the tires on the fleeing SUV, which he was successful of, but the driver continued on with at least 2 flat tires. With the steel wheels on the SUV throwing sparks due to no rubber left on the wheels, she continued up the highway and finally took the Yolanda Avenue exit and came to a stop at Santa Rosa Avenue. That's where the officers moved in and took her into custody. The driver was identified as 25-year-old Alyssa Metzger, a resident of Santa Rosa. It turns out that Miss Metzger had a suspended license for a prior DUI conviction and what police say were multiple other DUI-related arrests. And guess what they found inside the SUV? An open container of alcohol. Showing signs of being under the influence, a quick sobriety check showed that Miss Metzger was again driving under the influence of alcohol, so she was arrested and given a safe, sober ride to Sonoma County Jail, where she was booked on yet another DUI charge, as well as felony reckless driving, evading police, and driving on a suspended license. Thankfully, this incident did not end with a crash or any involvement with any other vehicles or innocent lives. In the town of Napa, road crews will be closing the Lincoln Avenue off-ramp off of Highway 29 between the 27th of this month until May 1st for repairs to the off-ramp road. This closure will be daily between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to try not to disrupt busy work commute traffic. During the closure hours, drivers will have to use alternate routes and should allow extra travel time for taking the detoured routes. In Novato on Friday, just before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a vehicle versus bicycle collision occurred between what was described as an older woman driving a newer black Mercedes sedan and an 8-year-old child riding a bicycle. According to the report, the incident took place at the intersection of Vineyard Road and Sutro Avenue. The woman driving the Mercedes did stop briefly and acknowledge the child, but then drove off, heading westbound on Vineyard Road, leaving that child still laying in the road. A passerby stopped and helped the 8-year-old get out of the road and then called 911. Thankfully, the child only suffered minor injuries. The Novato Police Department are requesting the help of the public by asking anyone in the area if they may have surveillance camera footage or who may have witnessed the incident to please call them at 415-897-4361. On Saturday, southwest of the town of Sonoma, a head-on collision occurred between two vehicles that sent several people to the hospital with injuries. This incident occurred at the intersection of Arnold Drive, which in this area is also Highway 116, and Bonas Road. Crews from Sonoma Valley Fire District and the Shell Vista Fire Protection District were on scene, as well as a chopper from CHP's Golden Gate Division Air Operations Unit. Let's take a look at some footage of the scene captured by the CHP chopper. This intersection has been the site of numerous crashes in the past, usually from someone trying to turn left from the 2-lane highway onto Bonas Road in front of oncoming traffic traveling at highway speeds, or someone pulling into traffic from Bonas Road in front of someone without enough safe space or time to make it. It's a reminder for everyone to not be in a hurry and to make sure enough space is there to safely turn or pull out onto the highway. Living in this area myself for several decades, I've personally known several people who have been killed along this stretch of highway in both vehicles and on motorcycles. Please everyone, drive safe. In Santa Rosa last Sunday at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a 64-year-old woman driving a gray Ford F-150 pickup truck at a high rate of speed blasted through a community park called a Place to Play Park, located on the western side of town on West 3rd Street off of Fulton Road. After hitting 3 cars in the parking lot, she left the paved roadway, went through the park, and splashed down about 50 feet out into a pond at the park. A witness who saw the incident jumped into the cold, dark water as the truck was sinking and got the driver out and assisted her back to shore. The driver was identified as 64-year-old Patricia Collinsworth, a resident of Sebastopol, who police arrested at the scene for driving under the influence. Even though she showed little to no signs of any injuries, she was transported to the hospital for medical evaluation before being booked in the Sonoma County Jail. Because of the rains and cold, muddy water, the truck was left in place until the following Sunday for the safety of the divers needed to secure cables to the truck to winch it out of the water. Almost a week later, at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, dive crews reported for duty at the scene and got the cable secured to the submerged truck, which was sitting in about 15 feet of water, some 50-odd feet off of shore. A tow truck then slowly winched the truck up and out of the water. You can see the damage done to the front end of the truck from crashing into the 3 cars in the parking lot before Miss Collinsworth launched herself out into the pond. Thankfully, no one at the park or any kids playing in the area were hit as she blasted through the park at a high rate of speed. In the town of Fairfield, during the early hours of the morning on Sunday at 1:30 in the morning, a call came into police dispatch about a couple of teens walking down the street, and one of them pointed a handgun equipped with a green laser at their car as they drove on East Tabor Avenue near Manor Place. So officers quickly responded to the area. When officers arrived, they located the group of 3 teens and detained them. Because of the nature of the call involving a firearm, the teens were searched. 2 of the 3 were juveniles who both had loaded firearms on their person, and the 3rd teen was 18 years old who also had a loaded firearm on his person. All 3 of them were taken into custody and booked on multiple firearms charges. In Fairfield on Tuesday last week, a couple of burglary suspects were captured thanks to the use of drones. This incident started when a flock license plate reading camera spotted a vehicle traveling down Travis Boulevard near Highway 80 that was wanted in connection to a burglary that took place in another city. So an officer responded to the area and located the car. When they tried to stop the vehicle, instead of pulling over, the driver took off in an attempt to evade the officer. Due to the driver's unsafe behavior, the officer called off the chase. But what the driver didn't know is that the police department had deployed drones that were flying overhead, tracking the car and sending a live camera feed back to the officers so they could see their every move. The suspect vehicle hid behind a business on the 1400 block of Gateway Boulevard, where the two suspects got out and began removing bags of items from the vehicle and then climbing over a fence into the backyard of a nearby home. Next to this area is a school, so for the safety of the students, authorities had the school placed on lockdown until these two suspects could be taken into custody. Once the area was surrounded and the school was secured, officers yelled commands for the two to come out of the backyard, but they refused to follow orders. So a canine unit named Draco was used to help persuade the two, which he did in a rather prompt manner, and the two were taken into custody. They were identified as 31-year-old Kelvin Burton and 23-year-old Amarion Jacobs. Officers learned that these two may be connected to additional crimes outside of Fairfield, so the case remains open. In Vacaville, police dispatch received a call from an employee at the Nike factory store at the outlet mall area to report a man who had just left the store with 2 bags full of merchandise without paying for it. The employee also told dispatch that he recognized the suspect from a previous theft at the same store, so dispatch was able to quickly get a make on a possible getaway vehicle as officers were responding to the scene. When they got there, the license plate of the vehicle was already obtained, and the vehicle was being tracked by city cameras as well as by drones that had been deployed that were now watching every move the vehicle made and sending real-time camera footage back to the pilots. They tracked the vehicle where it came to a stop in a back parking lot area where the two suspects began unloading their bags of merchandise. As the officers moved in, the two made a run for it. Let's watch the drone camera footage of the incident.
Probably getting into a gray or a tan van in front of American Outfitters.
I just went straight through the light. Should be an HM wearing all gray sweatsuit.
Okay, copy.
Got 2 running southbound on the trail.
He's on 130 Scoggins, southbound.
Stop, police, you will get tased. Sam 14, hold the air. I've got him at taser point. And for notes, we've got 2 Nike shopping bags right here. Go up to the left.
As you saw, the two couldn't outrun the officers or the drones and were both apprehended and taken into custody. One suspect was a male and the other a female. After surveying everything, officers found about $800 worth of stolen Nike merchandise, and the female was found to be in possession of suspected fentanyl and drug paraphernalia. Both were arrested on charges of shoplifting, drug possession, violation of probation, resisting arrest, possession of stolen property, and for outstanding warrants, and both were booked into Solano County Jail. On Tuesday last week in the Lake County town of Lakeport, a homeowner on the 4000 block of Lakeshore Boulevard had just returned home at about 11 o'clock in the morning and found that his back sliding glass door had been smashed and that someone had been inside his home, apparently feeling comfortable enough to cook themselves a meal. The homeowner went outside and began looking around the area and spotted a guy nearby, so he went over to confront him, and that's when a fight broke out between the two. Only the suspect was injured, though. Police were called, who arrived and found the suspect to be in possession of methamphetamine, plus multiple items that were believed to have been taken from the home. An ambulance was called, who was there to transport the suspect to the hospital for treatment of the injuries that he received during the fight with the homeowner. But on the way to the hospital, the suspect, who's now identified as 40-year-old Matthew Radislaw, a resident of Lakeport and someone who was well known to police, jumped out of the ambulance near Hill Road and took off on foot running down Lakeshore Boulevard to make his getaway. Police put out a be on the lookout call to residents in the area on Nixle, but also said that Radislaw is not known for being violent. The search went on for a couple of days until he was spotted again on Saturday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon after another incident that he was involved in. Evidently, Radislav's nonviolent past had changed because as an officer was trying to take him into custody, Radislav brandished a firearm to the officer and took off on foot. He was later spotted on the roof of a home located on the 3800 block of Lakeshore Boulevard. Now, because he brandished a firearm at the deputy, numerous deputy units were at the scene and a shelter-in-place call went out to residents in the area. A perimeter was established around the home and de-escalation efforts began to try to talk Radislav down off the roof, which evidently he complied with and came down where he was taken into custody without further incident. Officers also recovered a loaded firearm from the scene. Radislav was booked into Lake County Jail on several charges for both incidents. Santa Rosa police are asking for the public's help for information about an armed robbery that took place on Sunday just after 8:30 in the evening at Ortega's Market, located in the strip mall area at 1331 Guerneville Road. This incident took place when two men entered the store armed with handguns, demanding money from store employees. During the robbery, one of the suspects fired a shot. Detectives aren't sure whether the shot was intentional or if it was accidental. Both suspects then fled the store, running across the parking lot heading northbound, then getting on bicycles and fleeing the area. Both suspects were Hispanic males wearing black clothes with black face masks and blue gloves. Both are believed to be between the ages of 25 and 30 years old, standing about 5 feet 10 inches tall. One had lighter skin with a slim build, and the other had darker skin with a larger build. Police are asking anyone who may know something about this incident to please call them at 707-543-3690. A $2,500 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the suspects in this case. In Santa Rosa during the early hours of Monday morning, someone decided to go on a vehicle vandalism rampage in the town's historic Railroad Square area, as well as other areas downtown, by slashing the tires on multiple dozens of vehicles, as in upwards of 50 or more of them. Police say that number may grow even more as the investigation continues. Once police were called and were conducting their investigation of the scope of just how many cars had their tires slashed, a call came in a little later from a resident on the 500 block of East Jasmine Circle to report that a man was in a garage slashing car tires with a knife. So officers rushed over to that home and located a suspect matching the description of a man seen on surveillance cameras slashing car tires downtown. That man was identified as 32-year-old Keith Johnson, a known transient of Santa Rosa. In his possession were several knives, plus an ID belonging to another person, and a glass crack pipe. As the investigation continued, a business owner called police to let them know that on Saturday night, the windows of his office had been broken on the 1000 block of Jennings Avenue. Based on more surveillance camera footage, police say Johnson was responsible for that vandalism as well. Johnson was also found to be on probation for a previous conviction of possessing a dagger-type knife. He was placed under arrest and booked into Sonoma County Jail on several felony charges, including felony vandalism, felony burglary, and several other charges. Because there were so many vehicles involved, and some that are believed to not have been discovered yet, plus other vandalism that may not have been reported yet either, this investigation is ongoing.
Transform your home or business with Sonoma Paint Center. As your local Benjamin Moore retailer, we've got everything you need to paint inside and out, plus top quality stains. Step inside our Santa Rosa location or visit us in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now our newest location in Napa. From vibrant colors to durable finishes and required supplies, we'll help you bring your vision to life. Sonoma Paint Center, serving you at Santa Rosa, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now Napa. Sonoma Paint Center, color your world.
KORK North Bay TV is adding a new segment to our news broadcasts called My Awesome Pet, where we'll be featuring videos sent in by you, our viewers, of your pets doing cool tricks or funny things, kind of like America's Funniest Videos, but featuring your awesome pets. Then, each segment will be followed by a pet care tip from a professional at a local veterinary hospital or animal shelter. Each week we'll be airing a new segment featuring someone's awesome pet, followed by a new professional pet care tip. How can you participate in this and get your pet featured on TV? Just send us a video clip of your awesome pet, and if we like it, we'll air it on the segment. Be sure to tell us all about your awesome pet, like its name, how old it is, what breed or type it is, and any other fun information you might have about why your pet is awesome. Clips can be emailed to us at info@korktv.com. That's info@korktv.com. Or if you have a video clip uploaded to a cloud or a hosting service, like YouTube or Vimeo, just email us the link so we can download it. It's that easy. If we like the clip, we'll air it. If you don't already have a video clip of your awesome pet, just make one and email it to us. Everyone has a smartphone with a video camera, right? You don't need anything more. We can't wait to see your awesome pet. Well, that's it for our broadcast today. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Remember, you can watch us on our website at KORKTV.com or on our YouTube channel under the name of KORK North Bay TV. And if you watch us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to us. We'd sure appreciate it. We'd like to wish everyone a safe, happy, and healthy day. Thanks for watching.